Hi friends, it's Michelle with Garden Jargon, and we are a day late, 2 days late in posting the video for the Wilson Garden here at my house. And that's a big lie because I haven't posted a Wilson Garden tour in a couple weeks. I can't remember actually the last time that I posted one, but I did shoot it. So maybe I just haven't uploaded it to Facebook yet, or not Facebook, YouTube yet. But I wanted to fill you in on what's going on here for those who care and those that are interested in watching the growth of this garden. I have planted, I actually started this garden, if some of you don't know, this entire garden bed that you're looking at right here was constructed in October of last year. So October 2020, I moved in here to this property and I pretty much scalped the grass in all of the area of where the garden is that you can see. And then I layered it with cardboard. Then I built these boxes out of decking wood that I found down the street. Some guy was tossing it. Grabbed a box of screws, put them together, and they're only about 4 or 5 inches deep. Built the boxes, got composted manure, brought that in, filled the boxes, let it decompose over the winter. Top dressed it with garden soil, and now I'm planting in it. And I have a vegetable forest, don't mind my mess. So I wanted to take you through here really quick because we're about to get a huge rainstorm and I'm so excited. Whoa, thank God. It's starting to rain right now, but I'm gonna shoot right through the rain. So let's start with tomatoes. So let me flip the camera around. All right, I have 3 rows here of tomatoes, and it's starting to rain right now. 3 rows here of tomatoes. 1 second. Okay, I wanted to grab an umbrella because I don't know how hard it's gonna rain really quick. So we have been planting since June 1st, these tomatoes. So as you see, I have rows here. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tomatoes in each row. They're about a foot apart. And then in front of them, I have planted, as you see here, this is borage, calendula. On the ends here I did some marigolds, cosmos, zinnias. In this row I planted bush beans on the back half of the row. So on this end I did bush beans all the way down, planted my tomatoes right in the center, and in the front I did again borage, calendula, marigolds. I planted those marigolds from seed. Just kept them watered about probably 10 days ago. At the very end, I have gladiolas at that end of the bed and that end of the bed. Nothing is flowering yet in my garden except for some of the borage. But since I got the borage in the ground, it's obviously taking off. Then here's my 3rd row of tomatoes. So I got 1, 2, 3 rows of tomatoes. I will cattle panel trellis all 3 of these rows. On the front of this row here, I planted onion. So onions are all the way down my bed. Who knows if those are going to work out. I just saw them on sale, bought them. And then I planted a bunch of basil that I had started indoors. So there's lots of basil that's going to be growing. I got some nasturtium growing. Over in this bed over here, I've never grown rutabaga. Probably screwed this up. It's probably a cold weather crop. But I started them in a tray. They got really leggy and messy. So I just plugged them in here and I could not believe how much they took off since I did that. I have all these extra starts I haven't even put in the ground yet. Today I just planted this bed. I just kind of worked it a little bit, got that bed nice and soaked. Put 2 lavender plants in there, 2 of these pink purpley flower things over here, and planted that as a flower bed. I'm going to plug some zinnia seeds in there also to make it nice and messy. Over here I have dahlias, basil, onions, marigolds, cosmos, calendulas. So this will be a really pretty, messy flower bed. Over here I have peppers. I planted them pretty close together because I'm going to kind of do the weave to hold them up and trellis them. Over here, this is my experiment bed. So over there on the left, you can see, is sweet banana pepper. Then there's emerald pepper. Then I think hot banana pepper. Then like a poblano and a jalapeno. Well, the reason I call this my experimental bed is because the plants in the back row are exactly the same plant as in the front row. In the front row, I topped the pepper before I put it in the ground at the same time that I planted the identical plant in the back row. So I'm kind of doing an experiment on should I top my peppers every year or should I not? So that's what this is, and I have a whole series in my YouTube channel about that. So make sure you take a peek at that. Over there in the green fenced-in area are my bad potatoes. So they're on a timeout. They're in this cage. They cannot escape. Just joking. I planted these potatoes a while ago. These were like some potato seeds that I had in my pantry. Those were seed potatoes from our local farm store. So I wanted to bring them out and plant 2 potato beds. We'll see what happens. They're actually starting to flower. And I thought this was so interesting. Some of these are the purple potatoes. And look, they have purple flowers. I didn't know that that would happen. So there's a couple of the flowers that are coming on these potato plants that are purple because I planted purple potatoes in here. And then some are white. So from what I know about potatoes, after they flower, they will dry up, shrivel up, and tip over. And once they tip over, they're pretty much ready to harvest. And then people say also to wait like a week or so before you harvest them because then the skins will get a little bit tougher. I will probably try to do that. So it's coming up pretty soon because I put those in the ground, I want to say the end of April. May, June, maybe the end of March. Maybe it was the end of March. Anyway, cucumbers are here. I just plugged some cucumber plants in that I had right here. I will put some type of trellis option right here. These 4 are squash. I'm not sure if they're zucchini or yellow squash. I'd have to double check. Some of them look pretty sickly. I'm just going to trim off those leaves. And after it rains today, I'm going to go ahead and put some more diatomaceous earth around the base of these plants to keep them protected from the vine borer. Over here, finally, my okra decided to show up to the party. These are my okras. They've been in this contraption now for a couple weeks and they haven't done nothing. And all of a sudden they popped. So I'm really excited about that. And in between, you see all kinds of silly stuff. I thinned my carrots. My carrots are over here in the pool. I thinned my carrots the other day. That's carrot right there because I just literally stuck my finger in the ground here and put the tiny, tiny carrot in the ground. And I'm actually seeing some of those carrots reform in this garden bed, which I thought was kind of silly. Over there is radishes. I've never grown the radish, the white radish, but that's what's in there. I just took a peek at them today with my aunt. She came over to visit. I got salvia here on the end for some pollinators. Salvia on the end there. Also 2 plants with some borage. This is my carrot patch. I came through and I thinned this up pretty good. I think I did an okay job. Let's see. Let's see in there. When you look down in there, like they're pretty spaced out. Kind of hard to film in there, but I did my best to get the teeny tinies out and to give them a little bit of space. There's about 5 varieties of carrots in here, which I'm really excited to try them all. But some people have mentioned, how do you grow it in a kiddie pool? Well, this is how. The blue pool, I cut the bottom out of the blue pool and I set it on top of the soil in the green pool, and I used a really soft soil mix in my kiddie pool. So that's an experiment this year. We'll see how that goes. I also put some squash or zucchini in this little tunnel right here, just to help us with the pests until these get kind of big. I put them in here. I'm just going to keep it sprayed with diatomaceous earth on the roots and make sure that I can protect them from the vine borer. I just plugged in a bunch of cucumbers over here. Now this is my greenhouse that I use, and it's kind of interesting, yeah? So I was going to build trellises for my cucumbers, and I thought, why build something when I have something already? So that's why I put this here. So I have Armenian cucumbers over on the end. Let's see if we can get a shot of it. Hold on one second. There we go. So I have Armenians right there. The sign is back there. I think these are Market Moors. I have to double check. Market Moor cucumbers. Over here I have Silver Slicers. They are right here. And then, what do I have over there? Armenian Stripes are right in there. I plugged in some marigolds right here in the front so that I'll have some flowers here. And then I just amended this soil right here with really soft compost. I'm just going to plug in lettuce there and grow some lettuce, because once this foliage gets big and covered up, maybe that'll cover up some of the lettuce and keep it nice and cool. I plugged in some cosmos and some zinnias over here, and then these are my pole beans. My peas, they're starting to take their turn. Kind of sad because it's fun to come out here and snack on the peas. I mean, they are quite big now. Look at how big these are. They're huge. Let me turn this up. Yeah, these are a little big. I mean, they're still edible, the whole entire pod, but my dog likes just the peas. And they are tasty. Strawberries, they're not doing all that great. I think it's just because they're transplants from this year. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I've never been successful with strawberries, so if you have any comments on how to do that, help a girl out. Tomatoes in the buckets. This one's been on the struggle bus for a while. I'm not sure what's going on. Those plants were so dang tall. When I planted them, the root ball was at the bottom of the bucket. So they've grown quite a bit. I got to get some clips and clip them. I guess we're supposed to get some pretty severe storms later. These are my eggplants. I think I may have planted them a little close. But you can see they're riddled with damage. See all the holes in the leaves? I have sprinkled it with diatomaceous earth, which actually helped, because then you can see the new growth doesn't have so many pests on there. This is a brand new leaf that has no pest on it, so I'm going to go ahead after this rain and sprinkle them all again. I put 2 pimento peppers in there. I just got those extra. Somebody donated those to us, so I'm going to go ahead and grow them. Right here I have some more flowers. That's butterfly weed. No clue what that flower even looks like when it's mature. So that's probably densely planted right there. But I want to encourage pollinators and butterflies to come in my yard. I just plugged in some cucumbers right here. Zoom this out again, I'm sorry. Cucumbers are right here. I'm going to build an arch trellis that goes up and over right here. And then I planted this style bed like the other bed on the other side, where it is green beans, bush beans on the outside, and then tomatoes on the inside, and then flowers on this outside over here. Gladiolas are at the end. That's borage down there, and where all the sticks are through here, you can see little marigolds popping up. This is, I think, a triple crop. This thing was like a stick when I put it in the ground. I thought we were going to lose him. He's doing really good though. Let's get that sucker off of there. That doesn't need to be there. Yes, borage. I'm so excited to see what borage looks like. There's one down there. It's so pretty. The blooms are purple. But then we have our pepper bed inside the greenhouse. The reason I built this greenhouse is so that I can cover it and extend my season when it gets to it, when it starts to get a little bit cold. But we have some peppers growing all along this row. Some of my favorites, shishitos, lunchbox, jalapenos, poblanos, 2 colors, 2 of each color of bell peppers. Those are the peppers that I overwintered last season. We're going to see how those come out because I've never done that before. Really excited to see how those peppers work. And then these are all my San Marzanos and Roma tomatoes right along here. I did plug in 2 baby peppers here. I can't even remember what they are. And then I put basil in here next to my tomatoes, and then I believe there's sprinkled marigolds throughout here as well. This bed is the Husky cherry tomatoes, pineapple ground cherries, and Aunt Molly's ground cherries, and purple basil. Right there. Then, my design when I did this entire bed was to have a lot of flowers. Well, I was late to the game. But I did dig a trench through the entire row here and along that side over there. And I plugged in a bunch of flowers that I had started indoors. So in here is dahlias, calendulas, zinnias, cosmos, all the way down. And I did the same on the other side. Then over here, I planted my bucket garden. Every year I have a bucket garden because I absolutely love extending my garden space in buckets, and everything looks really good over here. Nothing is freaking out yet, except for these 2 guys. I got 2 hot Tabasco peppers right here. They're still in the pots that need to go in their own individual pots. That's a tomato in that yellow bucket. That's a tomato right there. And that's a tomato right there. So I'm going to pop those up on the back row and put that trellis up that I had last year. Tons of peppers. Some of these peppers, there's 2 to a bucket because you can plant 2 pretty close together. These are extra plants. Just kind of keeping them watered in case we have any damage from any storms here. Silly broccolis and cauliflower. Those are an experiment because I've never grown them before and I put them in a bucket. We'll see what happens. What else do I have? I think that's pretty much it. I do have my herb garden over by my driveway, which is in the tires. And they're doing okay, but the squirrels seem to like it more than they should. They don't like the herbs, but they like to hide their snacks. I need to weed whip around here. Sorry for the mess. Gladiolas are in every single one of my beds. This is my basil bed. I have purple basil, amaretto basil, Genovese basil. That's a basil pot. I've trimmed that down probably 3 times already. It still keeps coming back. It looks pretty great. This is all oregano, but you can see squirrels. They're just hiding stuff in here. They don't want my oregano. They're just trying to hide stuff. I got some nasturtium plugged in here. I'd love to try nasturtium pesto. I planted a squirrel in that hole. Just joking. This is mint. I'm not sure about this mint. I've never seen this before, but it's kind of vining. More mint, some grass seed, rosemary, parsley. Now here we have sage. I love how that smells. I think this is lemon balm here in the middle. Bee balm. Close. Dill. Hopefully I'll get a caterpillar on here so I can have some butterflies. Cilantro, obviously it all went to seed already. You can see what a disaster this is. I started a lot of this cilantro myself. And these are the ones I started. They're down here. It's a disaster. I've never been able to successfully grow cilantro. So what I think I'm going to do is learn how to do it hydroponically in the basement. I do have a hydroponic kit that my doctor gave me as a gift because we share the same birthday. I'm going to try to set that up. What's this? Bee balm. More bee balm, more sage, more gladiolas. And then my last bed here is parsley and dill. So it just looks like that got burnt a little bit. You can trim that off. Parsley, I got the curly kind and the flat leaf. My gladiolas are popping up in the back. I also tried to do my best to get my buckets done. That's always a big, huge problem because I never do it right. But I just built these buckets. Put the flowers in there. These are some begonias. I'm not huge on flower knowledge. These are all petunias. This is some vining kind of pretty thing. Lavender over here. I like to sit next to the lavender when I'm sitting out in the garden. Pretty coleus. This is like some purple thing. I don't know anything about flowers. Look at all the flowers I have. So I still have to plug all of these in some buckets. I also learned how to propagate petunias. So all of these are brand new petunias. I propagated these. I took a petunia that looked like this. I chopped off all the foliage at the top, like above my fingers, put root start on them, stuck them in a new tray, and now I have these. And then I put the stubby parts in my new buckets, and they're gonna flower just like the ones in that new seed tray. So I just learned how to do that, and it was fun to do. Then also I went over to the Batavia Community Garden and the Ginger Creek Garden, and I cut off the suckers from our tomatoes. Look at this. I got a sucker patch. So look up in here. Look at all those suckers. So what I did was I just took mason jars and marked them, what goes in what jar. This is a black crim. And I trimmed up the suckers off our plants. This is a big beef, but this is a whole new plant. And not that I'm saying I'm waiting for storm damage, but I'm prepared if we do. That I have probably 45 more plants here that I can put in the ground if we do get any damage. Now we did have some damage a couple weeks ago from some hail. And it just had a couple holes in my tomato plants. But if it did like snap over a tomato or something like that, it would have been a big disaster. Because we don't have anything put up on our arch trellis, or we have nothing set up with cattle panels yet. That's why I just threw the bamboo stakes in there. Like, those are not permanent, guys. Trust me, I know how heavy a tomato plant is. But I needed to get something in the garden because I'm a one-man show here. I run 3 gardens. The Ginger Creek Garden at my church, the Batavia Community Garden for the Interfaith Food Pantry, and then this huge garden here. And I absolutely am not complaining. I love every moment that I'm out here getting sweaty and dirty and want to pass out from heat exhaustion. There's nothing more satisfying for me to grow food and to share with you guys how I do it. But I am a one-man show and I don't have a lot of people helping me out, and I will get to the trellises when I get to them. And hopefully it will be soon because they're getting pretty big. It's amazing how you take a seed start that's tiny and puny and you stick it in the ground and it explodes. It grows faster than you can think about throwing a trellis in the ground. So get your plants in the ground, guys, because it is important. I planted my gardens so late this year. Last year was like May 30th. This year was like June 2nd and June 4th that we got stuff in the ground. So this stuff, today's the 20th. Today's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everybody. So it's been almost 3 weeks that stuff has been in the ground, and I'm grateful. This is only the third time that it's really rained, and it ain't even raining right now. It's supposed to rain like really heavy at 4 o'clock. Well, it's coming up on 4 o'clock, and there ain't even rain in sight. It's just drizzle stuff. So who knows if we're going to get it. But I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to do a garden tour as best I can every Friday for this garden, the Wilson Garden. I'll have a playlist so you can see the different dates will be in the description. And please like and subscribe. Help me support my channel. I really do appreciate it. And I wish you guys the best in your gardening adventure. And if you have any tips and tricks or an advice that you would give me in my garden as you walk through this tour with us, please let me know. I will take anybody's advice to serious consideration and to heart, because if you have better advice than I have in my garden, I will take it. I love to educate myself on gardens. So I wish you guys the very best in your gardening adventure, and thank you for watching my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and God bless.